I think we're live. If we are, hello, welcome everyone. Let me know if you're joining live or watching the replay. Just let me know in the comments below. Welcome to this masterclass, which is going to include a meditation for menopause. And I'm really excited to share this with you. So come and let me know in the comments if you're here, share with your friends, share with anyone who you think would benefit from this. So let's get in. A big light is being shone upon menopause and perimenopause right now. And I think that is just wonderful. I feel like the generations before us were just got on with it. And actually, my recent nurse just said that very helpfully to me. She's like, oh, we just got on with it. But us women who are touching into this period of life now are saying no to this old way of just grin and bearing it. And it's almost like innately we know that we don't need to just accept the changes this brings and this path of you, like this initiation right into the crone as a way of life. But how? And this is what I want to shed light on, to look really at the spiritual perspective of menopause and how this spiritual perspective can help you embrace this initiation into the crone. And as I said, I'm going to provide a very powerful meditation. And if enough people ask me, I'm willing to create that as a downloadable audio file. Now, before we get into this, I'm going to say this is not hormone advice. This is not medical advice. This is not nutritional diet advice. There's so much help out there right now. There's so many speakers. If you look at in the UK, there's Davinia McCall with her menopause thing. She has a great support team of doctors, and there's lots of other people as well. So go and speak to the experts on those things, but I'm going to be sharing with you a spiritual perspective because that is my expertise. So this is for you if you are feeling a change. Maybe you're in your late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and beyond. Perhaps you're feeling a change, you're feeling a sense of change in your body, and that might show up in terms of things like a change in mood, a feeling of not really feeling yourself and not knowing why. Perhaps you've got some physical symptoms like feeling hotter, having changes around your weight. Maybe your periods are still the same, but you're feeling some of these different changes. And really, you have this call that you want to navigate this period consciously, and you want to embrace it. And you want to feel good in yourself. It's when we don't feel ourselves, that's really disconcerting because it starts to make us want to feel ourselves again, feel normal again. And perhaps you want to keep up with life, feel and love this vibrancy and this power and this deep love for yourself. And yet, maybe you're feeling quite sad about the changes that you're experiencing in your body. Maybe you're not knowing how to really handle it. There's so much information there about going the hormonal route, going the bioidentical route, the supplement route, or the alternative route. And perhaps deep down you have a fear of loss of your vibrancy, of your beauty, of feeling attractive, and this general sense of not feeling yourself. So this is what this is all about. And essentially, I have three really important points that I want to share with you today, which is going to help you really embrace this change and navigate this change. So the first thing I want to talk about is the wounded feminine, and about how having an inner sense, a deep inner sense of love for yourself, no matter what, helps us really navigate this period. And obviously this no matter what, I'm talking about unconditional love. We live in a world that really worships the maiden. beauty, if we think about what beauty is, what society defines beauty as, it's really defined by the maiden, this nubile, this youth, um, uh, this idea of the maiden being coming into her sexual beingness, coming into that innocence, almost coming into the shape of the maiden, the body shape of the maiden. And in society, there is almost no definition of beauty outside of her. And even you think about this saying that we have going around, oh, she looks good for her age, or you look good for your age. I mean, that means that your beauty is defined by the maiden. It's all referring back to her. You know, losing your weight after a baby is all about getting back to the maiden. So the maiden is really worshipped when it comes to our defined definition of what beauty is and what acceptable beauty is. And then that leads us to youth. Youth is seen as the elixir of life. And this really reminds me of a movie back in the 90s, if any of you remember it. It was called Death Becomes Her. I think it had Goldie Hawn or someone like that. And it was like a comedy film, but it was about these two women that were trying to stay eternally beautiful and young, and they were searching for this elixir of life. And really, that's what it's about. It's about we've become obsessed with youth as actually being a way of being immortal, and forgetting that immortality is not attached to age. It's ageless, it's timeless. And actually that immortal part that we're trying to access is more accessible through the crone in a way, because it's connection to our soul and our deep soul purpose. Also, this worship of the maiden brings in this sexual innocence, this being taken by men, being dominated by men, being owned by men. And, you know, a woman on top, a woman who cannot be conquered, who cannot be owned, is really deemed as quite wild. You know, there's still a lot of stigma about a really, truly sexually liberated woman, and the worship of the maiden is really about this domination and this sexual innocence. And even in the kind of neo-tantra industry that's really rising at the moment, I still see a lot of this. I see a lot of toxicity in a subordination of women. There's not an honoring of two unions coming together and seeing each other and owning each other. Still like this kind of, you must submit to me, I must dominate you. That is not an honoring of the wildness, the depth, the breadth of the feminine. It's really a worship of the maiden. And so then healing, this worship of the maiden is really needed so that we can then embrace our crone age, embrace our change, embrace our menopausal. And what that takes is an unplugging from the collective external paradigm of the wounded feminine. And this kind of collective miasma, it's like a cloud. I really see it very visually, which we've all plugged into, which is kind of saying you are not enough until you are all of these things, until you have these things, and all of these things are defined by the maiden. And the thing is that this external collective miasma governs our psyche of whether we accept ourselves, of whether we love ourselves, or whether we feel enough or not. And so the crone and all the changes it brings will never have a place in your heart, will never have an acceptance and that unconditional love until you allow all this external matrix penetrating our being to be unplugged, to be removed. The other healing tonic for this worship of the maiden is to really start, once that's unplugged from this matrix, is to start to build on the well of self-love from within. And this takes practice, because we have spent a few thousand years being conditioned that we are good enough by all these external authorities. So once we've unplugged from them, it's like a muscle that we need to tend to. We need to cultivate this true connection to the Christic Sophia within, the Christ within, the real feeling of your infinite magnificence that is only really felt here within. And it's really interesting I'm talking about this because in my circle, Embody the Goddess, this month, this is what we are talking about: to treasure the self, the Christic self, not the ego self, the external self that's attached to all this external matrix, but this inner light, this inner knowingness that you are light embodied. And not to know that as a concept or to attain or strive for it, but to allow it to, that knowingness to penetrate each and every one of your cells, to we're almost rejecting this Christic part, this Sophia part of ourselves by focusing on these external things. So cultivating this connection, this recognition, and that is what it starts with, is an internal acknowledgement and a recognition of the Christ, the marriage of the feminine and masculine within. And I want to share with you a bit of my story now. So part of my story of coming into all that I share was I started having these big visions in meditation time, this connection to Jesus. And this is Jesus in his exalted self, not in terms of some of the stories that are told in different religions, but the true Yeshua, the true Jesus. And when I saw him, he was in these visions, he was looking at me with such reverence, such love, such adoration, such, like he was captivated by me, like he was adoring me, loving me. When that was first happening, I was like turning around and saying, oh, who's he looking at? He's looking at someone else. And when I realized that he was looking at me, you know, this saying of Namaste, the light in me sees the light in you. When I realized he was looking at me, at first I shriveled and shrank. I was like, oh my goodness, I've been seen, truly seen and acknowledged. And working with this now, I've been acknowledging it, allowing that love, that recognition, that reverence to penetrate me, to be known, to be accepted, to be allowed by me. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about building this well of self-love from within, is allowing yourself to acknowledge to yourself how magnificent you are, that you are light incarnated, that you are a divine being in a human body. That is what I'm talking about, and that is the healing tonic for the crone, for this paradigm we live in that really worships the maiden, to really bring that forth. Because I feel the more that we unplug from these external idols of worship and connect to this infinite within, our world will be such a different place. Imagine what your life would be like if you knew that you were infinitely worthy, infinitely magnificent, priceless, a treasured being, an adored being, a being that people like pray down and get on their knees to you. That you would be showing up in the world in such a different place, and no matter what is happening in your body, it's like, wow, I love my body. My body is the temple for this light. Like, it doesn't have to conform to this shape or this way of the face or this hairstyle. Like, none of those things matter, because this inner radiance then shines out. And that is the work of the crone. To embody the crone is to really connect on this inner light and love from within. So then the second part I want to talk about is sovereignty, embracing the crone and this menopausal time, this perimenopausal time, through sovereignty. Because we've had a few thousand years of going outside of us for authority, outside authority that defines who we are, what is good in us, what is bad in us, what is deemed acceptable. And this has penetrated every level of our being. It's in our blood, our ancestral line, our educational system, our laws, our financial system. Everywhere that we govern, there's an external authority, there's professionals, there's all external things. We know nothing. We are, just low level nothingness that need to go to this external authority to be judged and deemed. And so this has created a big loss, a loss to our innate wisdom, and really a disconnection, a big disconnection to our bodies, especially for women, because women's bodies have been shamed and degraded. They are a place of shame. They are original sin. We should not be in our sexual power, in our sexual energy. So we have been really, it's like they've been pried apart, ourselves and our connection to our body, and especially our connection to our womb. And so we don't really, what that creates is not really a knowingness or a feeling of what is going on inside of our own bodies, what is happening with our endocrine system, with our hormones, with our glands, and with our womb and our ovaries. Like, we don't really know what's going on, and it's like we're going through this change and it's outside of our control, and we're just going through the changes, so we subordinate to external professionals to tell us what to do. Now, I want to put a caveat here. I love professionals. I went to a menopause doctor today. So I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying, yes, embrace it. But I'm saying, when that is done in a way where you are listening and connected and knowing what is happening in your body intuitively, you're able to more intuitively take on that advice and that expertise and feel whether it feels right for you or not. It's like it's coming through. Like, if you are queen and sovereign of this domain, that's your body, your beautiful temple space, then of course you have advisors, but it's being filtered through your domain, because only you know all of you, your relationships, your business, your family, your friends. Only you know all of this, and so only you can decide what is right for this domain or not. They can just advise you. So this has been a really key point, and this is what I want to really work on later in the meditation, really connecting to our bodies more and trusting our innate intelligence, because, there is a power, an innate intelligence that created our bodies. It's incredible. And that is allowing our heart to beat and our lungs to breathe, and all of this miracle that is happening in our bodies right now. And we can connect to that innate intelligence. There is an innate intelligence here. It is, so we need to connect to that. And then the second part to this is having this deeper connection to the body, where you are in dialogue, you are in union, you are in communion with each other. And so it's like your body is speaking to you at every moment. It's bringing you information, and it's about you connecting to this information, being not a master of your body, because that is like a master-slave relationship, which I don't think is helpful, but being in union, being in communion with your body, and really listening to your body, and knowing that actually that you have power. You have power over that, like we have power over all of matter, because we are co-creators. So through our thoughts, our words, our deeds, through our intention, we can work much more harmoniously with our body and the changes that are happening, rather than just kind of giving it all over to the experts. And then the third part of this is really, this is about listening. And our body listens to our commands, listens to our thought processes, listens to what we're commanding the body and asking the body to do. And this is about our intention. And our intention is extremely powerful, because we've been disconnected from the fact that we are co-creators. We have forgotten how powerful we are. And I've helped many women manifest babies when it seemed impossible, clear up super painful periods in one session, change their cycle, purely through their listening to their body, working and feeling if it's right for the body, and then working in their intention, meaning speaking to the body, explaining. And this is a really important part. I love my cycle when I'm on a new moon cycle. That is the natural rhythm of how women should be. And when we come together, and when we came together in ancient times, we all bled together. We all kind of synchronize. And the synchronization that works best for us is new moon. So when my cycle goes out, and I've worked with many clients on this as well, when it's out, you can call it back through your intention to that cycle. And there's some other sacred rituals that you can do, but actually your intention is enough. And so working with our intention, we can really speak to the body and communicate with the body. Because they say in perimenopause, cortisol rises because there's a lot of confusion in the body, because the hypothalamus and tells the pituitary to produce the hormone that tells the ovary to produce estrogen and progesterone. Now let's say they're speaking in all their innate intelligence, and the ovary saying, but there's no eggs, I can't release an egg. Then there's a bit of confusion and a disruption that happens, and so our system gets stressed. It creates cortisol, and there's all other reasons why it creates cortisol, which I won't go into because I'm not a medical expert, but go and have a look. It's all about our estrogen, and when our estrogen goes, we lose our cortisol rises, and all other things. Now, what I want to bring in here is this spiritual perspective, is what would happen if you speak with your body, if you intend, if you start to explain to your body what is happening, and bring some harmony, bring some balance, bring some, like a soothing mother, a divine mother, bringing some love to your body and to what is happening. I think that would be extremely powerful, and actually I know it is, because I've helped hundreds of clients do that. Now I want to just share a little bit more. If you go into the mysteries, the ancients didn't bleed every month. Actually, we did this through intention to procreate. If you think about it for a moment, there's no real biological need for us to go through big hormone upheavals every month. And if you look at mammals, they don't. So it beggars the question, why do we? And I'm just going to leave you to ponder on that. But I want to bring in that in the ancient times, when there was a request to procreate, it was done very magically in ritual, and then there was a bleed and a way to bring a baby into being. It didn't have to be this way that we live in, this paradigm, this matrix that we live in now. So the gift here, the gift of sovereignty, is to remember your sovereignty, to remember that your intention is enough, and to start to speak and listen with your body a whole lot more. That's really going to help you navigate this change a lot more harmoniously. Now, the third part I want to talk about is the crone and the joys of the crone. And the joys of the crone, as I said, only come when we've unplugged from this distorted feminine paradigm, which I spoke about in part 1. So then let's talk about the crone. The crone is full of power. The crone, in terms of power, is the complete embodiment of no fucks. It's like she has finally almost given up all of this treadmill of rowing, of trying to be enough and trying to please and giving everything to make something happen. It's like all of this ego self of trying to make it has died, has fallen away. And so then when that dies and falls away, the crone comes up and she is like, now what? Without all the pomp and pretense, she's started to not care, but not care about herself, but not care about all of these external things. And she stopped trying to please because she stopped trying to give something. When you give up on life in this spiritual, metaphorical way, something magical happens. You actually open up to life and you start to really embrace life for what it is. You start to see the cosmic joke of this universe, and you stop the fight for survival, because when we care too much about what we're creating, what's happening, we create this big ego that is like in the fight for survival. And when that dies, we have this allowance of this space to open up for something new and really powerful and magical to come in. So I'm really inviting you to embrace this part of the crone that really, is in love with her body, is in love with her folds, that is in love with her skin and her hair and her womb and her breasts and everything, like just really in love with it and really like not caring so much about all of this external pretense, and really allowing then, when this fall away of the ego, of the fight for survival comes, to really allow this question of now what to come up, because it really comes from this deep cauldron space of the womb of the crone. And it's really asking the universe and all the magic of the universe, now what, in a very powerful way. The crone also brings us great wisdom. She is the most intuitive part of ourselves, the part that knows when something is off and something is on. Like, she just knows. And she's really here to guide and counsel ourselves and our life, like allowing that deep intuitive side that just says no. And that's the thing. Some people ask me how to tell the difference between your head and your heart, or your intuitive side and your logical mind. And my answer to this, if you think about a crone, you ever go and see a really wise woman, and you're coming, oh, this and that, and you go into the whole story, and she is just like, not that. Her no or yes is so simple. It's so refined. It's so obvious. It doesn't have all justifications, which is what the logical mind, the head, and the ego does. So when you receive this intuitive hit, if you like, this intuitive guidance that is just a simple this way or that way, with no bump, no fluff, no pretense, no pomp, that is the wisdom of the crone, the guidance. And she is there obviously to guide and counsel others. And that doesn't mean telling them what to do, which is our current model of what guidance is. It means guiding them to their own innate answers. And we have been the guides for thousands of years, and it's really time to reinstate that. If you look at the Pythia in Greece, the consorts in ancient Egypt and beyond, we were really the guides to bring that innate wisdom through, the ability to truly see and bring that wisdom, that higher intelligence in. And finally, the crone contains the magic. She has the magic, the inner cauldron of things to be birthed. And instead of birthing for the procreation of the species or for her ancestral line or her community, she is doing it for the planet, for humanity. And so there's this deep presence that the crone brings, which is this presence of birthing a legacy, birthing something really important in the world. So really then the embodiment of the crone is, how can you embrace this power that you hold as the crone, to really give no fucks and really follow your life for you? How can you honor your intuitive side and listen more? And what is your true motivator, your true legacy that you want to do for the planet and humanity? There's almost an invitation to get off the hamster wheel of creating and procreating and surviving and step into the ageless, timeless vastness that the crone provides. So I would love to know in the comments, if you have any questions, how this has touched you, what this has awakened inside of you, let me know in the comments and I will respond to everyone later. And now I want to invite you to do a meditation with me, a meditation that's really designed to connect and listen more to our body, to our womb, and to bring harmony and balance in that. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth at your own rhythm. And just really allowing your energy to come into your body now. So it's like you're calling and drawing all of your energy that's perhaps been with other people, situations, work, clients, family, life. You're really calling and drawing all of your energy back into your body now, back home where it belongs. Feeling your chair beneath you, giving your weight to the chair. Allowing yourself to settle back. Maybe you want to spread your legs a bit. Put your feet flat on the floor in like almost like a squat position. As you sink deeper down into your hips and your pelvis. So really calling now your energy and your awareness deeper down. So as your breath comes up through your nostrils, following it up into your brain and down your neck and your throat, coming deeper down through your chest and your heart. Just feeling your breath coming over you like waves now. Waves of energy, waves of breath. Coming down below your heart and into your diaphragm. And just following your energy all the way down through your solar plexus. down past your navel. Breathing your awareness now all the way down to your womb. Just circling your awareness now around your pelvic bowl. Breathing around the front of the pelvis, the right side, your hips and your pelvis, around the back, around by your sacrum and your coccyx, and around the left side of your hips and your pelvis. And coming and spiraling around more into the center now. So it's like you're going from the outer rim of your hips and your pelvis, and you're circling and circling down a spiral. In fact, it's a labyrinth, following the path, the labyrinth. Treading along that steps of the labyrinth, going deeper and deeper, carrying now an intention through as you walk through the labyrinth to connect with the inner wise woman, the crone, and to receive guidance and wisdom for your life. Arriving in the center now of this labyrinth, as you see right in the center, there's a fire. And sitting around the fire is your inner wise woman, the crone. Just notice how she greets you. What does she have to say to you? Noticing it may not be how you perceive it. It might not be friendly or open. See what she says to you. It may be a warm embrace. However you are experiencing it, honoring it. And notice that the more that you're there with her, witnessing her, honoring her, being there, acknowledging her, the more that she starts to open to you. Maybe coming to her now with questions that you have. Questions for your life, for this time of change. It may come to you in symbols, in knowingness, visuals or audio, just a sense of knowing. Knowing that you can come here and ask for guidance at any time. We're now going to ask the crone to guide us to the ovaries. Looking at the left and the right ovaries, just seeing how they are. From under her cloak, the crone pulls out a jar of anointing oils. And if it feels right, there's an invitation to take this jar of anointing oils now and massage it into your ovaries, pouring it over. And you'll notice as it comes out, it's like a liquid light, massaging in love, nourishment, gratitude. And just see how your ovaries react to this. We're going to carry on up now, traveling up, spiraling up, coming up through the midline of your body, past the womb, past the navel, through the solar plexus and into the heart. And again, taking this jar of anointing oil, pouring it over the heart, bringing nourishment, love, and gratitude. Just noticing how the heart reacts. So we come further up now into the brain, into the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the pineal gland. And just pouring this jar of anointing oil, this liquid light now, into these glands, massaging it into the glands, designing to awaken and activate these glands, and to bring in a sense of harmony and peace, balance. And asking now these glands come into harmony through the heart and into the ovaries and the womb in a way that serves your highest good, your initiation into perimenopause and menopause, into the initiation of the crone. And there's a request from you now to connect more, to listen more, to enable this journey to be harmonious. There's a real invitation and a request for you to listen and connect more. So feeling this line of light now coming from your pineal gland, which is right in the center of your brain, to the pituitary, which is under, to the hypothalamus, which is under, and down through the channel of your spine into your heart. And then from your heart into your womb and around your ovaries. And around your ovaries, it's like a figure of 8 light passing through your womb. This figure of 8 light, then going up and a figure of 8 around your heart, and then up and a figure of 8 around the glands in your brain. Just breathing and connecting. As you come all the way back down, descending down back into the womb now. You find yourself at the center of the labyrinth with the crone. Noticing how she feels now. Any final messages for you? As you walk the path of the labyrinth, the spiral out, coming out and out into the outer path, till you're on the outer edges now, and you find yourself and your awareness breathing into your pelvic bowl, breathing into the hips and the pelvis, and starting to come back into the physical edges of your body, wiggling your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes now. Open your eyes and coming back online, back in. And you can let me know in the comments how that was for you. If you have any questions, what happened for you. And I will come and answer any questions or comments later. Let me know if you would like that as an audio. If there's enough people, I'll do it for you. Thank you so much for joining. Sending you lots of love, and I will see you again soon.